Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Everybody, welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name's Sky and tonight we're joined by Rachel.
Hi guys, good evening, and I'm Rachel. I will be monitoring your questions on YouTube and Facebook, so please pop them in and I will ask Sky the questions as many as I can tonight. If you're wondering, yesterday night we've got 1,102 came home at 8:17 p.m. It's awesome. Thank you, Sky.
No worries, Rachel. So yes, 1,102 penguins crossed this beach last night. How many will it be tonight? We don't know yet. It is just beginning here on Penguin Live TV. The penguins have just arrived literally about a minute or two ago, and it looks like they are just starting their dash. They are just venturing away from that water's edge and beginning to cross the beach on our last night of our special series of live streams for the UK. So for those of you in the UK, good morning. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you're going okay on the other side of the world. We hope that this is bringing you a smile to your morning, because we know that you guys are staying inside at the moment. You're inside your homes. You're looking after your communities and staying apart to stay safe. And we appreciate it. So this is our little gift to you. This is our last night of the Penguin live stream for some time. It won't be the last night forever, but for some time. And you'll just have to keep an eye on our social media, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, to find out if and when, or when I should say, our next live stream will be. So yeah, bit of an end to a bit of a fun month, I would say. It's even been 6 weeks, because of course before we did this 1 month of live streaming for the UK, those of you who were watching earlier, we did a week of Meet the Experts as well, and that was a really fun week where we introduced you to 7 or more members of our team who work across the park doing lots of different things, and they talked about their roles and how they are protecting nature for wildlife here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. So we here at Phillip Island Nature Parks are a self-funded or visitor-funded and not-for-profit conservation organisation. And we survive by people like you coming and visiting us. And that is what funds all the important conservation work that we do. But also, if you can't visit us at the moment, you can donate to the Penguin Foundation, which does help us keep looking after the fantastic wildlife and nature that we've got here on Phillip Island. Or Malau. Malau is another way of saying Phillip Island. And it is, I'd like to pay my respects or acknowledge the traditional custodians of Malau, the Bunurong of the Kulin Nation. And I'd like to pay my deepest respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now some penguins are running back. They're not surely going to run all the way back over those rocks. Surely they're just going to pause. Got some that are attempting to climb over this big hill. And others that are hanging back. Oh, yep, running, or at least one right in the back's running all the way back. Today's been a fun day here on Phillip Island, on Malau. It is Community Open Day here at Phillip Island Nature Parks. And so we've had a fun day today saying thank you to our community for the year that we've all had. And we've actually opened our doors for free to the people of Bass Coast Shire to come in and see the penguins, to go to Churchill Island Heritage Farm, to go to the Koala Conservation Reserve, to go to Nobby's Antarctic Journey, as a way of saying thank you for the past year. And it's a great way for the community to keep in touch with what it is that we do. And so it's been very fun. I've spent the morning at Churchill Island. I was running around taking pictures of people as they enjoyed their day at Churchill Island, and they were playing some old-fashioned games. They were doing some blacksmithing. We saw people doing some decorating. We did sheep shearing. Oh, and they're almost home, the penguins. If you watched last night, they're taking a much more sensible approach than last night. Last night they came in from the other direction, which we've seen barely ever. It happens only from time to time here at the Penguin Parade. Now, before I go much further, everybody, what I would like you to do tonight, since it is a last night, I'm really interested. I want to see in the comments your favourite penguin-themed emoji, sticker, or GIF, or some people call them a GIF. Your favourite penguin sticker, emoji, or GIF. Essentially, I want to see lots of pictures in the comments or little cartoons in the comments of penguins. Share your favourite. You can even justify why it's your favourite. Why do you like it? That's what I'd like to see from you tonight as a bit of a celebration. I want to fill the comments with lots of pictures of penguins as a bit of a celebration for this last night. Oh, they're moving. So send through your favourite emojis, GIFs, and stickers of penguins. I want it to be on theme. I want a wall of comments and of penguins. I want to make it really joyous tonight. It's all about penguins tonight. Oh, they're rolling down this hill, aren't they? And that puddle has disappeared. So those of you who watched last night, there was a puddle right here. Gone. These little penguins are almost all going directly under the stand tonight. They're absolutely gunning it. We'll have to wait to see if anybody rounds the corner for the highway soon. See if we can get as many penguins tonight as last night. Let's cast our eyes back to the edge of the water and see if we've got any further rafts. So these penguins, if this is your first night watching, everybody, these penguins are the little penguin, Eudiptera minor, the smallest and the cutest penguin in the world. And we've got the biggest colony of them in the world here on Malau on Phillip Island. 32,000 little penguins call Malau, Phillip Island, home. And they're coming home tonight after perhaps a big day out at sea, a few days out at sea, even potentially a month out of at sea. But that would be quite surprising at this time of year, were they to be out for a month. That's something that more happens around the winter time. At this time of year, a few days is probably a little bit more normal. And that's because it's been the breeding season, so these penguins need to be coming back to look after their chicks. Oh, wallaby, hello. They need to look after their chicks. They need to, some of these penguins, if they're chunky penguins, they're coming back for a molt. See if I can get close up on this swamp wallaby. Hello, friend. There we go. Penguins and wallabies.
Bandicoot.
A wallaby. Oh, and a bandicoot.
Yeah, it's on the pathway.
On the pathway. Oh gosh, and there's lots of penguins on the pathway. Oh, there's too much going on. My goodness. Yeah, the bandicoots have just been prolific recently, I have to tell you. I went out to the boardwalks after the live stream last night, and I reckon I saw about 5 bandicoots. That is a lot of bandicoots. I'm glad some of you saw the bandicoot. I missed it. I was watching too carefully the penguin, the wallaby, and the penguins on the screen there. All right, well, you know the drill. Let me know if you see it again. Let's go back to this main screen. Yeah, it's been a really good time for bandicoots. Absolutely loving seeing all these bandicoots recently.
We've got penguins with center. We've got penguins in spacesuit. Penguins sleeping.
Oh, these are the emojis and gifs and whatnot.
It's amazing.
A penguin in a spacesuit. Why does it need to be in a spacesuit? It's not going to space. That's silly penguins. Oh, I love the creativity of of these emoji and gif makers and sticker makers. It's very creative. I like it. I wish that wallaby had hung around. Oh, too much to look at tonight. But yes, of course, we've got some penguins, chunky penguins is what we're talking about, coming home for the molt tonight. So coming home and they're going to push out all of their feathers in one go. Now, if you have watched on Friday, Thursday, I can't exactly remember when it was, but it was earlier in the week, we had the amazing Kylie Minogue. She tweeted about our live stream and said, hey, everybody, you can watch it. I take from that Kylie Minogue is a fan of the live stream, which is very exciting. And I was issued with a challenge to come up with a penguin-themed Kylie Minogue song. And I had a little bit of a think about it. Lots of people sent in some suggestions. And I think I have to go with the quintessential Can't Get You Out of My Head, where she's doing that dance like this. And this is how, while we watch these penguins come in, I'll give you my little rendition of that Kylie song. So, of course, the original starts with la 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 la, but of course we can't be doing that. None of that here on Penguin Live TV. Of course, it has to be huck huck huck. Huck, 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 huck. Now, if this is the first time you're watching, everybody, you might be saying or thinking, why is she saying huck, huck, huck? And the reason is, of course, when penguins are out in the water, they tend to spend the day by themselves in a solitary fashion. But at this time of night, they form into rafts. And the way that they find each other out in the ocean, because it's a big, wide ocean out there, the way that they find each other is that they huck. They make this little noise that goes like this. And when they hear that, they find each other and then they can swim in together. And of course, in the comments, since this live stream has been going, I know all you waddle watchers, the people who watch quite regularly, will call to each other in the comments saying huck, huck, huck. We just think that's so lovely. It's such a lovely little trait of our waddle watchers, our regular viewers. So, of course, it has to start with huck, 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 huck. Then it follows on. This is very true of me. I just can't get you out of my head. Penguins, your waddling is all I think about. And I think if you are watching these live streams over and over again, then that's probably the same for you. You're probably, just like me, thinking about penguins a little bit more than you should throughout a day. I know that penguins are often something that I think about a fair bit. I still remember there was one day, let's flip to the highway and watch these little waddlers. There was one day I was on a bus in Peru. and I was looking out the window, and my partner, the wallaby's back. Oh no, it's just jumped away. My partner said to me, "Oh, what you thinking about?" Because I had a smile on my face. And the truth was, I was just looking out the window on the bus thinking about penguins. That's what I was thinking about. And this was even before this job. That was before it was my job to think about penguins. So that's definitely true, that Kylie Minogue. I just can't get you out of my head. Penguins. Then I think the final bit that that made me giggle when I thought of this part of the song. So there's the bit where she says something like, it's like, set me free, or whatever she sings, something like that. I thought that we have to get into our other penguin noises. Oh, here they come, a few little more. So I thought that bit would be, huck, huck, Rachel's just going, oh no. So embarrassing, Sky.
I love it though.
Love it. Oh, so Kylie, that's how we've penguined up your classic bit of a dance. Huck, 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 huck. And we thank you so much for supporting our little penguins, Kylie. And for letting other people know about the penguins as well. Oh, let's flick to the highway. Let's watch our little waddlers. Look at them waddling. Here they come. So, have we got any questions?
We do.
Rachel?
From Kieran. Kieran was
Hi, Kieran.
asking, what is the furthest north little penguin have been found?
Oh, I'm so glad you've asked this question, Kieran. It's something because it was it was somewhere that I went. It's the Galapagos. The Galapagos is the furthest north that you will ever see any penguin in the world. So sometimes people think of polar bears and penguins being together. No, in real life, you would never see a penguin and a polar bear in the same place. The penguins are from the southern hemisphere. The penguins are from the southern hemisphere, and the polar bears are in the northern hemisphere, and they do not cross. But the furthest north that you will find a penguin is in the Galapagos. The Galapagos is part of Ecuador, and Ecuador literally means equator, right on the equator. So literally just into the northern hemisphere, like just on the equator or just above, because the equator goes right through. There's one island in the Galapagos that the penguins tend to, there's a few that they're around, but one of them is Isabella, the island Isabella in the Galapagos. The equator cuts right through that island, and there are Galapagos penguins on that island. So you could say they're bang on the equator or just above. So technically, yes, you can see penguins in the northern hemisphere, but only really just. And that's the most northern place you'll see them. Now, the penguins in the Galapagos are pretty short as well. They're not quite as tiny as our little penguins, but they are still pretty small. And often you think about the equator, you think of it as being quite tropical. So you think, how could these penguins possibly survive? But the Galapagos is quite a temperate area. It's not, because of the currents and the winds, it's actually not that sort of tropical temperature that you associate. Oh, the penguins are running from this wallaby. It's not the tropical weather that you'd expect from the equator. It's quite temperate. In fact, the water is freezing around there. I was there in a September time, and gosh, you definitely needed a wetsuit, and you could only snorkel for a little bit of it at a time because it was so cold. So I was lucky enough to see a few of these penguins. Oh, bandicoot in the just above. Just went running past. I was lucky enough to see a few of these penguins along with a few hammerheads. Hammerhead sharks are blue-footed boobies, saw pelican babies. I swam with sea lions. The Galapagos is absolutely a fantastic place to go if you can. And a thing I really like about the Galapagos, it's a little bit similar to Phillip Island. It is a place where tourism is the reason that there is so much conservation work going on in the Galapagos. So one of the great reasons that there are animals to see, that it is being protected, is because of people wanting to visit and people wanting to visit in an ecologically minded way. So it's a really great place to go. If you can sort of go to the Galapagos in a sustainable way, you really are helping the conservation of the area. And it's the same as Phillip Island. If you can come and visit us here at the Penguin Parade, you really are helping the conservation of these little penguins and the bandicoots that are running past, and the wallabies, and all sorts of animals that we've got running around here. So great question. Oh, I could just talk about Galapagos penguins all day. That was a long answer. Sorry, Kieran. Short answer is bang on the equator. Good question. Any other questions, Rachel?
We do. Just got one question from Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
In regards to how far north. What about our little penguin? So she's seen some in Sydney, but she's wondering just how far further.
Yeah, how far further? I want to say like the Central Coast is about as far north as they go on the East Coast. Does that sound about right, Rachel? Central Coast, yeah. So not that much further than Sydney, really. And then in Western Australia, do they go up to about Fremantle? Yeah, similar size, I think. Yeah, not too far north. I imagine that it... once it sort of gets into that tropical weather that these penguins, it might be a bit hot. That's my best guess. Yeah, great question, Peggy. And generally what we see, the Galapagos are a little bit of an exception. Generally what we see is that the further north you go, latitude-wise in the world, the smaller the penguins get. So right at the very southern parts of Antarctica is where you see the big emperor penguins, and they need to be really big because it is so cold. They need to be as big as they possibly can for to conserve their heat. Whereas when you get to these areas that are further north, they need to be small so that they don't overheat. So yeah, generally a rule of thumb is the further north you get, the smaller they get. And yeah, one of the big exceptions to that rule is, of course, the Galapagos penguins at the equator. But as I said, it's not really that tropical weather that you think about when you're at the equator. So that might have something to do with it. And of course, there's Humboldt penguins a little bit further south in South America along the coastline of Peru and Chile. Magellanic penguins around there as well. So there's lots of places all around the southern hemisphere that you can go if you are a penguin lover and you want to see all 18 species in the wild. Well, you're going to have to go to Antarctica, but there's a few places along these continents that you can go as well. Good questions tonight, everybody. We still got GIFs and emojis coming in.
Yes,
Rachel?
we do. Penguin dancing, penguin shivering in the cold.
Oh, shivering in the cold.
Yeah, with beanie
Surely
and scarf. Yeah. Penguin skateboarding.
Penguins
skateboarding. I know, showering.
Oh, these penguins are very talented in the GIFs. I like this. Oh, that's fun.
Another question from Simon. Was it Simon? Simon?
Yep.
Do the New Zealand penguins breed with the penguins here on Phillip Island, the little penguins?
Do they? No, because they don't really meet up anywhere. So yeah, they don't even have the option to breed because they're not finding each other. It's quite a fair distance for them. They're not really meeting each other. What's interesting is that were they to meet each other, oh cool, we're watching this, hang on, I'm just going to flick to the penguin main because we've got some going up the hill there. What's really interesting is that, so the definition of a species usually means that all individuals of the same species should be able to interbreed. So the fact that we've got little penguins here and little penguins in New Zealand that are the same species, well, they should be able to interbreed if they are the same species. What's very interesting is that there are some discussions going on between scientists that are wondering if we should be classifying our our New Zealand little penguins and our Australian little penguins as two different species. And I would say that if they were classified as different species, that would suggest that they could not interbreed, which is interesting. Now, no official decision has been made, but certainly the talks are happening. People are investigating it and looking into it. So it'll be interesting. Watch this space. At the moment we say, well, at least we here at the Penguin Parade, we say that there are 18 species of penguins in the world, but who knows? There might come a time before too long when we start saying that actually there's 19 species of penguins in the world, with the little penguins in New Zealand and the little penguins in Australia being two different species. Watch this space. It's not happening yet, but could be on the way. Also, it may not happen. But watch this space.
We've got a joke for you.
Oh, a joke. I love a joke.
From,
yes.
Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
And she's just asking, why are penguins hard to get along with?
Why are they hard to get along with?
Because they're always fishing for compliments. That's a really good one. I love that.
Fishing for compliments. I get it, because they fish. I love it. Thank you, Kaylee, and thank you so much for watching.
She's actually got another one if I want to hear it.
Oh, I always want to hear more jokes. Yes, please.
What do you call 500 little penguins in Trafalgar Square in the UK?
Oh, what?
Very lost.
Absolutely. Trafalgar Square is the complete wrong hemisphere. Complete wrong area for these little penguins. Although I know I think there are some penguins in London Zoo. In fact, they've got the old penguin enclosure, which was this really interesting Art Deco structure, which when you look at it, they obviously don't use it anymore, and that is because it is not probably very good for penguins anymore. These days, most zoos are trying to make habitats or their enclosures a bit more like a natural habitat, a little bit more natural, and this was a really sort of stark white and blue kind of thing. But it's a really interesting. They've left it in the zoo as a part of history. I was living in the UK a year and a bit ago, and it was very interesting to see that at the zoo. I'm not exactly sure what type of penguins they had at that zoo. The zoo I worked at, we had Humboldt penguins, which I already mentioned, found off the coast of Chile and Peru in South America. So I like it. Trafalgar Square. Yeah, very lost. They'd have to have where am I going? They'd have to have broken out of the zoo, I think, to be in Trafalgar Square. Now we've only got about 5 minutes left, everybody. So I know we're not going to be with you again tomorrow night. I'm sorry to say, but I hope you have enjoyed this special series of live streams. We've really enjoyed bringing them to you. So for this little session of live streams, I want to spend just a little bit of time thanking the people that have made it possible. So first, I'm going to start with the people behind the scenes, because this would not happen if it was not for people like our big marketing boss, Jeff, who had the idea in the first place, who's the one who's been pushing to make this happen. So I want to say a big thank you to him, and Rolly, who's been on the live stream before. He's been really a big part in making sure that this happens. I want to thank Visit Victoria. Oh, we've got a wallaby in the back there. Visit Victoria and Tourism Australia for their support in making it all happen. I want to thank Sophie, who's worked tirelessly throughout the whole process of the live stream to get this on Facebook, on YouTube, on and happening every single night. I want to thank our tech crew, Tully and George, who some of you have seen on our live stream as well. Is that mostly it for behind the scenes? Oh, Kim and Kathleen for all their rostering that they've done to make sure that it happens as well. And the many, many other people who've worked so hard behind the scenes to make sure that we're coming to you live every single night for the last month or so. then I want to do a bit of a shout out to the presenters. So, of course, we've had Ranger Jordan, who's been on leave for the last little while, but she's been a fantastic presenter throughout these live streams. Ranger Megan, who you all know and love and has been with us the last few nights as well. And Ranger Stephen, who, of course, is always ready. He loves a penguin joke. He's got some fantastic penguin jokes. So I'd like to thank the presenters for coming in every night and talking non-stop for half an hour pretty much, and running the cameras, driving the cameras as well. It's not as easy as we make it look. It's quite difficult. So good on them for getting out of their comfort zone and getting on screen in front of thousands of people each night. Of course, we couldn't do it without the producers. That's the people who sit next to us here in this room at the Penguin Parade, who are answering your questions, who are moderating your comments, and the people, of course, who are writing the answers to the questions. So I would like to give a big thank you to Ranger T, Rachel, Sue, Viv, Tom, Michael, Heather, and Anna, who've been our producers and question answerers mostly for this last month or so. And then, of course, we couldn't have done this without our special guests that we had to kick off the live streams, the incredible Michaela Strachan and Ray Mears. Didn't they just absolutely blow us out of the water with their professional presenting skills? And it was such an incredible opportunity to have them talk to us, all things conservation, all things penguin. So look, it's been a really fun time, everybody. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. Big thank you to anyone I might have missed. I'm checking my list. Anyone I've missed if they've contributed. But of course, I think the biggest thank you goes out to all of you, our Waddle Watchers, and the people who are watching night after night, or just even one night or two nights. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love spending our evenings or mornings, if you're in the UK, with you, talking about penguins.
It's Mother's Day on the UK.
Sorry?
Kylie was saying it's Mother's Day on the UK.
Oh!
Yeah, can we have a shout out to all the mothers?
Yes, absolutely. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the UK. Yes, I know particularly mothers in the UK must be working very hard at the moment with everybody indoors all the time. It's a busy time to be a mum, I'm sure. So a big happy Mother's Day to mothers all around the world, but particularly in the UK today on Mother's Day. So thanks for letting us know, Kaylee. But no, big thank you to all you Waddle Watchers for tuning in, keeping us company. Now, we'll give a shout out to the group. If you love penguins, if you're sad that the live stream is ending, there is an unofficial Facebook group where the people who have got to know each other through the comments of this live stream have found one another. It's not affiliated with Penguin Live TV, but it is run by some dedicated fans of Penguin Live TV. There are articles that people put up, sort of daily articles on penguins, penguin activities. If you're not ready to say goodbye to the lovely community that's formed in the comments, do head to Waddle Watchers Anonymous. It's called Waddle Watchers Anonymous on Facebook, and you can keep up to date with the penguins. Also keep your eye on our social media, because look, this is not going to be the last of our live streams. There's going to be more at some point. We don't have any dates just yet, but it certainly will not be the last one. So keep an eye on social media to know when our next stream will be. So yes, look, that really does take us to the end of the stream now. So we might just watch this little group waddling along. And then this giant group waddling along. And then I think, like the penguins, it will be time to head on home. Any last questions while we watch this giant group of penguins?
No, not at the moment.
out?
Not that I can see everyone is thanking you
Oh.
and thanking everyone else. So we'd like to thank everyone as well for all these beautiful comments.
It's like I'm sure in the comments at the moment, it's like a big warm hug. And that's what I've really liked about this process is sometimes the internet is not always a very friendly place, is it? Don't always see the best of humanity on the internet, do you? But in our Penguin live stream comments, it is just the most wonderful people. I find that it seems like the Penguins bring out the best in people, and we have some absolutely lovely, supportive people who tune into this live stream. So thank you for being part of that. Thank you for tuning in to our live streams and being part of the positivity. So look, I think with that, the Penguins are heading home. It's time for us to head home too. It's been a pleasure, everybody. We'll see you again before too long, I am sure. We will, I think, probably let you know via the stories, probably on social media, on Facebook and maybe Instagram, how many penguins have come in tonight, so that you're not left hanging wondering how many penguins this was. But it's been a pleasure. Get on in here, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. We'll miss you.
Well, and for one last time for a little while, we're gonna huck on away. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Huck, huck, huck,